Hey, everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, July 4th, 2021. Summer has got some big shoes to fill. It is going to take 2 women to replace her. Summer recommended Sally to replace her at JCV, and Tara is replacing Summer at home with Kyle. I will be the first to admit, I did not expect Summer to actually leave. I didn't think she'd do it. I didn't think that's where the story was headed, but those goodbyes sure felt final, didn't they? I mean, I guess we're saying goodbye to Hunter King, but I will reserve some hope because that Y&R revolving door continues to revolve. So you never know who may come and who may go, but I really am going to miss her. I think that Hunter had brought a lot of emotion and a lot of depth to the character of Summer, and she was really excellent in the months leading up to the departure. I think it's a shame that we're losing her, but it is also a really good, strong shock to the fan system. Sally and Tara got exactly what they wanted. Summer is out of the way. The schemers won. The heroine did not triumph, and the boy did not get the girl. Summer just kissed Kyle, handed him back his engagement ring, and frankly, I'm surprised that Summer didn't encourage him to turn around and give that same engagement ring to Tara. She practically handed her whole life over to Tara. Kyle is now moved back into the Abbott mansion, so he and Tara are practically living together. And they're also trying to sleep together too, and by that I mean they are trying to fall asleep together. Tara's got a little something more than sleep on her mind. As evidenced by the little dream fantasy she had of kissing Kyle in the middle of the night over drinks and breathing exercises. I was all about that dream fantasy because at least it tells me that Tara wants Kyle for something more than his money. I wasn't convinced. Oh, yeah. I tell you, all it's going to take now is a medical emergency for Harrison, and these two will be doing the kissing in real time. Mark my words. I can see it now. Just picture it with me, you guys. Little Harrison decides to try a piece of Mrs. Martinez's peanut brittle. Tara and Kyle realize that he has a peanut allergy. Little Harrison is rushed to the hospital, to his deathbed. Only a blood transfusion can save him now. But wait, Kyle's blood is not a match. How can that be? Tara has to confess everything to Kyle, sending Kyle off to Milan to find Summer. And maybe Harrison's biological father, Ashland, can spare a pint of blood. But oh wait, he's got cancer. Now he's busted too. Have you read the latest edition of the National Inquisitor? There is a very interesting article saying that Ashland Locke, the business mogul, is dying. So is it true, Y&R Chatters? Is it true? Is Ashland Locke really dying? Let's put a poll on this at yrchat.com. Do you think that Ashland is ill, or do you think he's fine? Can't wait to see the votes on that. And side question, who do you think leaked the news about Ashland's health to the National Inquisitor? Because Ashland immediately assumed that it was Tara, but I don't know. Everything can't be Tara. I would lean toward thinking that it was Victoria. She's the only other person that knew, but it doesn't really serve Victoria's best interest to do potential damage to the company that she's about to merge with. And I think Victoria wants the merger more than she wants Locke and more than she wants anything. So I wonder if the news leak could have been a move that Ashland made himself. I wonder if he wanted to make himself appear weaker so that he could speed along this merger deal with Victoria, so that he can wrap his tentacles around Newman Enterprises and around Victoria. I said tentacles. Don't get it twisted. Because he wants to wrap a lot of things around Victoria. I had a good laugh on Friday when Ashland and Victoria were talking about their business merger and their personal merger in the same breaths. And Ashland told Victoria that he wants to go out with a bang. Oh, I bet he does. I most certainly bet he does. That became pretty clear when he asked Victoria to sleep over. And he also said that he wants to leave his mark. Yeah, going out with a bang on Victoria might actually leave a mark. I like this little cat and mouse game. Victoria definitely deflected his advances, which again tells me that she wants the merger more than she wants him. Doesn't mean she doesn't want him, but I think she wants the merger more. Now, Ashland's condition seems to be worsening a bit. A coughing fit here or there. But it seems to me that these coughing fits are coming on when Ashland is not getting his way, or when he wants something, like for Victoria to have dinner with him or to stay with him, or if he wants her to sell off some of Newman's assets as a compromise on their antitrust merger issue. Oh, excuse me. Can I get a bottle of water? I've got cancer over here. No, a bottle of water will be fine. Oh. Nikki warned Victoria this week that she's taking a pretty big swing here. And she doesn't really know Ashland all that well. Maybe she doesn't know him as well as she thinks. Ashland did screw her over on the Cyaxaries deal, and the whole Newman Enterprises Locke Media merger deal is all based on the assumption that Locke is going to die. Well, what if Locke doesn't die? What are you gonna do then? Or more importantly, what's he gonna do then? Victor shows up in his old office to question Victoria about Ashland's illness, and I have to say, I forgot how much I love that set. It's not so much the decor, because that set is very Greek god and horses, and it's very Victor Newman, and that's not what I love about it. What I love about it is how dark it is, especially in comparison to the other sets. I feel like the darkness of that set, that visual, is what drew me to daytime in the first place. Y&R looked different from all of the other shows on TV during the day, and having that really dark background, it's like emerald green walls and dark brown. Having that darkness in the background makes the characters look so bright in contrast, and I just really appreciate that. I think that is such a unique look. It's a unique look to Y&R, and I hope that Y&R keeps showing us that set, even though it's Victoria's now. Victor asks Victoria what she knows about Locke being sick, and Victoria assumes that what Victor really wants to know is, does Locke have a weakness that I can exploit? And she's not about to let Victor swoop in and steal the deal that she's been working on. I think that Victoria wants to pull off this merger, pull off this coup, and then shove it in everyone's face. She wants to be able to say to Victor, ha-ha, see, I did something that you couldn't do. And you may have gotten Cyaxares away from me, but I got the whole pie. You got Cyaxares, but I got the whole pie. I got the whole company. And she's right that she and Victor want the same thing. He trained her. They think alike. They're very similar. Adam and Victor are thinking that they might be able to use Locke's illness to their advantage and maybe buy up a few more pieces of his company. I think probably they're thinking that they might like to do something other than media. I mean, of course, they weren't going to stick with media for too long. I mean, the plan with Victor is always to dominate the world. And also, Victor told Billy this week that the Newman Media Chance.com feud is over. So we're putting the media part to the side for now, but I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt that Victor is going to feel like he's just going to let the Billy Chance.com thing go after Billy and Lily published their latest expose article. Billy and Lily are working together to try to find out if Ashland Locke is dying so that they can put together their story for their media company. So they decide to divide and conquer. Billy does what Billy does best. He eavesdrops on a Newman Media dinner meeting, and then he smugly inserts himself right into the conversation. I know that I am really hard on Billy week after week, but he is so sexy. Let it not forget to be said that he is so sexy. The way that Billy just stands there with his slenderness and his Cheshire smile and his hands in his pockets, he just really embodies kind of an old Hollywood style to me. I don't know. He just looks like he belongs in a black and white detective movie. I don't know, like he's got a Bogart vibe or something. I don't know. I can't place it. He's very appealing physically. I don't know. I would want to touch him with a 10-foot pole emotionally. I had high hopes for Billy's interview with Tara. I thought, ooh, this is going to get good. Maybe he's going to get a little tough on her. But Jack maybe softened Billy up before Billy started with the interview. And then Jack just kind of shuffled off to the sunroom. Was anybody else floored by the revelation that the Abbott mansion has a sunroom? I mean, of course it does, but I don't think it's ever been mentioned before. I have a sunroom too. So in that way, my house is just like the Abbott mansion. Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, Billy's questioning of Tara was a bit less flooring than the sunroom. Tara was definitely on good behavior, and Billy seemed more interested in gossiping about Ashland and Victoria's relationship, and Tara doesn't really know anything about that. Lily takes a little bit more of a direct approach. She tried chatting up Victoria to see if anything would come out of Victoria's mouth that could be of interest. And honestly, the best part of that conversation was Lily just trying to find some common ground with Victoria to chat about, to do her snooping. Lily was trying to compliment Victoria's dress and talk a little bit about shopping, because, like, you know, shopping is something that clearly women can bond over. And Victoria's befuddled reaction was just well worth the price of admission. She said, "I don't have much time to shop." Like, she just doesn't know what to do. She is such a stick in the mud, and it's a great contrast to how warm Lily is. Lily is so warm and so inviting, and she's so casual, and she's probably a great conversationalist, and she probably has so many friends. And Victoria is, like, just such a stick in the mud. She's like a business savant, but she can't hold a friendly conversation about her own wardrobe. She must have a personal shopper or something. She does not have time to shop, so she has got to send someone out just to pick her clothes for her. And even when Victoria is trying to be warm, she's still cold. Victoria was equally awkward in the sky-gazing scene at the park with Ashland. Like, she just does not know what to do with herself. She is stiff as a board. Tara's partner in crime, Sally Spectra, has seen an instant benefit from having Summer out of the way. She is now the proud new acting president of JCV, and that is a title that begs celebration. And who better to celebrate with than the biggest softie in the building, Jack Abbott. How did Jack go from cold shouldering Sally so hard a few weeks ago to now his face lights up when he sees her, and he agrees to meet her at night for a drink? Not only just a drink, but Sally and Jack shut the place down. He is now engaging in getting to know you conversation with Sally again. What happened? Because whether Jack meant to or not, he did affirm Sally's feelings for him during that meeting. And he did admit his own feelings for her. He said that he was not going to be open to pursuing a romantic relationship with her, but we all know that that won't last. Sally has buttered him up, and soon he will melt. Here's what I think happened with Jack. I think Phyllis pushed Jack too hard when she saw them chatting. And now Jack he's like gravitating back to Sally in order to prove his independence. And I think that whatever manipulative meltdown Phyllis is having in those previews for next week to try to guilt Jack away from Sally, I think that's just going to push him even closer to Sally. I think this is, in a way, something that Phyllis kind of triggered. Phyllis and Jack had this intense conversation about Kyle and Summer, and it started to drift to a larger conversation about relationships and love and trust, and inevitably Phyllis, thinking of Jack as just a friend, was having to bring up her relationship with Nick. And Jack put a stop to that. He said, you know what? I am not comfortable talking to you about Nick. I don't want to talk about your relationship with Nick. And first of all, I thought, well, good for you, Jack. Good for you. If that's your boundary, then make sure that you enforce it. But I think it shows right there that Phyllis only sees Jack as a friend, and Jack would love to have more with Phyllis. But I also think that that conversation reminded Jack that, hey, wait a minute. Why am I taking Phyllis's advice about Sally or love or anything else? She cheated on me. I think all of those hurt feelings about their relationship came up again, and that is by far a deeper hurt. What Phyllis did to Jack and the pain of their relationship is by far a deeper hurt than anything that Sally ever did to him. I think all of those feelings, watching Kyle have to give up his relationship with Summer, reminded Jack of the way he had to give up his relationship with Phyllis. And so he agreed to go get drinks with a different redhead. Someone who lied to him less. Adam is moving out to the ranch. No, Adam, no. Don't move in with your dad. You're like 40. You have plenty of money. And while I truly appreciate the new intimacy between Victor and Adam, I would not advise Adam to put all his eggs in the Victor Newman basket. No. Working at Victor's company, living at Victor's house. This is the exact path that all of Victor's kids have taken and then soon realized was a big mistake. When you take Victor's offerings, he controls you. Maybe it's only a little bit now, but then he turns up the pot, and before you know it, you're boiling. And I don't want to see Adam lose his independence and his rebel spirit, you know? Also, I think I just don't like the tack house. I just don't want to see the tack house. After the remodel, it just doesn't feel the same to me. I loved it in all of those classic flashbacks, like when Heather Tom's Victoria lived there, because back then it was a very horsey little house. It was extremely horsey. But then it got remodeled and it became that lighter version with the stupid hat rack of the hats that never moved and just collected dust. It was like a red hat, and Phyllis and Nick lived there, and I just never liked it. And then I think Victoria or Nick was living there even more recently, and then, you know, there's a little kitchenette. And all right, I don't know, but that doesn't even, the way I remember the tack house doesn't remind me of Adam at all. It doesn't seem like it would be his style. Maybe they'll revamp it again, or maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe I'll get lucky and won't have to ever see the tacky house. We'll just see Adam and Connor hanging out up at the main house in the horse room, talking about how they're living at the tack house. Maybe that's it. But it's clear to me that we did do some set swapping here. I think that we traded Adam's penthouse set for Lily and Billy's new apartment. And then I think maybe we traded, I don't know, something. Maybe, because we did get the Newman Media Office set. And that makes me think we're not actually going to get the tack house set. I don't know. I mean, but he's going to take the offer, right? Adam's moving to the ranch. We didn't even get to see the penthouse one last time. Adam just stood at the front door in the hallway right outside of the penthouse, unable to enter with all of those money-saving flashbacks swarming his brain. I told you about the flashbacks. Lots more flashbacks. Oh, that'll save some cash. Hey, all right. If it's a relevant flashback, all right. And if it's a flashback not from yesterday. I want flashbacks that are like at least a couple weeks old, please. I'm willing to compromise. Victor, so Victor also has a private office. Are we going to see that? He mentioned that this week. We'll probably never see that either. But did you catch his mention of the private office? The one where he's going to keep that smoochy pic of he and Nikki that she gave to him as a gift this week? Oh. Does Adam have a private office too? Is that how it works? There's one shared office and two private offices? Is that how you do it when you're lavishly rich? Okay, one last thing I have to say about the sets. I'm starting to get a little tired of Chelsea in her brown suit, in her brown room. I mean, you know me, brown and gold are like my colors. My whole house is brown. I freaking love brown and tan and gold, and that's my style. But I am getting tired of looking at Chelsea's beige reality. It's just nothing but beige. It's like so monotone, monochromatic, and I'm just tired of it. Please, Chelsea, put some effort into getting out of this hospital soon so that I can stop looking at all that beige. Use whatever means necessary. I don't care what you have to do. In the previews for next week, Chelsea is saying that she's going to have to force the doctor's hand to get out of there. Fine, whatever, do it. I don't care what she has to do, but I will say early in the week, Chelsea, she keeps flipping her plans, and she told Chloe that her whole escape plan was to try to just act normal to get out of there, and all I could think was, act normal? Yeah, that ought to work. I am going to need to talk to Naya. I am going to need Naya to tell me, in her own words, how exactly she is responsible for Richard's death. Because hearing it from Sutton is not good enough. Sutton was perfectly suited to go along with Naya's confession, and then he just so happened to run into Amanda in the park. That's not creepy. He just so happened to be sitting on the bench as she walked by. He lives in a different town. Why is he just hanging out in the park in Genoa City? He says he wants to smooth things out, but it's that he wants something. Now he wants something. And that something was for Amanda to represent Naya, to become Naya's defense attorney. Eternity. But no, Amanda just snarled at him. I mean, she downright curled her lip and just flared her nostrils and snarled at him and told him to go to hell. And I said, way to go, Amanda. Ugh. There's an old saying. It says, fool me once, shame on you. And fool me. The point is, you can't get fooled again. I don't know why I just thought of that. Points if you get the reference. Nina is looking for investigative journalism work at Chancecom. Hey! Everybody's got a story to pursue in this town. Maybe Billy can write the story on Locke and Nina can write the story on Stitch. Stitch. What a creep, huh? showing up at Abby's doorstep with a gift, asking her to a retirement party, and then popping up outside the window, watching Mariah's baby belly. Oh, this guy's a real weirdo now. Oh, Mariah was immediately like, what was up with that guy? Anybody in soap world who claims to be boring is most definitely hiding something. And I was really glad to see Mariah question him. But I think maybe her senses are heightened in some ways and dulled in other ways, because I feel like Stitch passed Mariah's test. He's really quite charming. Oh. And in the previews for next week, he's having one last goodbye with Abby. But I have a feeling he is not going back to Iowa City unless it's in a body bag. Yeah, I mean, okay, I think, yeah, it probably is possible that this story will somehow wind around to a romance between Abby and Stitch. That would be unexpected, but it's possible. I mean, he kind of asked her out. But that wouldn't be my lead theory. I think Stitch wants to be around Abby because he's fishing for info on Chance and Chance's investigation because he knows that Chance is onto him. I think Stitch is the bad guy that Chance has been chasing all along, and this is going to come to some great climax. I mean, how crazy would it be if Danny the Donnie Bose dropped through the ceiling of the Chancellor Mansion to save Abby once again? There'd be a twist I wouldn't see coming. It's not gonna happen, though. Maybe it's just the fact that everybody loves Stitch that makes me extra suspicious of him. I mean, even Victor loves him. How rare is that Victor loves somebody so much? Oh, I really appreciate how Y&R is folding Victor in everywhere they can. I mean, the sparring scene with Stitch was totally unnecessary to the plot, but it was thoroughly enjoyable. I like seeing Victor be playful like that, and it just speaks to the fact that that Stitch is so charming. I think that Stitch is a changed man, though. He said this week that things with his son have gotten so bad that his son doesn't even recognize him anymore. I think that made Stitch not the same lovable pre-doctor Dr. Nate. You know, I mean, he was the doctor that everybody loved, and I think he's just not that anymore. I think maybe what happened with his son has turned him to the dark side, turned him to a criminal enterprise. I mean, who knows? Maybe he lost his medical license or something, and then he turned to a criminal operation to make some money. I don't know. I feel like Stitch's stint on the show right now is temporary, because when I look at Stitch, all I see is a man who the writers brought back to kill off. You just gotta stay focused, stay safe, and finish the job. Don't forget that. That's a good mantra. That was Abby's mantra last week. She was just imagining that was Chance's plan for a safe return. Stay focused, stay safe, and finish the job. Finally, a Who Said It quote that not everybody guessed, but a good strong amount of people guessed. Henry, Ellen, T. Nicole, Victoria, Sheila, good old Marky, and Cherie. You guys guessed that was Abby. How about a new quote for this week, shall we? I like this. Harmless is boring. Ain't that the truth? What a quote. Harmless is boring. Do you know who said that? If you do, you should go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you a shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. Well, I have got to start out with this great comment from Sharon, who says, I think Y&R is about to do to Stitch what they did to J.T. Hellstrom. Damn, boom, Sharon, boom. I mean, there is nothing closer to a nail being hit on the head than that. Oh, that is such a perfect comparison. They brought him back to make him bad and then kill him off. That's exactly what I was thinking, and that is the perfect characterization of it. Diana says, Y&R's using Stitch's son Max as the reason for the change in the good doctor's behavior. The mental stress of having to deal with his son's illness, combined with his lack of a balanced personal life of his own, has pushed Stitch over the edge. Yes, exactly. And Astra says, if they decide to make him some kind of dangerous bad guy, I could get into that. Unlike what they did to JT, I could buy Stitch being on the dark side because he's not a character that was important to the canvas. And he only made connections with a few characters. From the way everyone was hyping him up as a good man who's just struggling, there's got to be something more sinister going on. I think you make a good point too about how Stitch, he didn't really stick. Stitch didn't really stick for me. And you're right, he wasn't really important. He definitely had interactions with other characters while he was on the show, but he wasn't a major player. I think he's a perfect person to bring back and kill. But you're also comparing that to JT, where JT had, I mean, he was on the show for a decade or more. I mean, he was on the show since he was practically a child. And the way they did his character was gritty, and there was a lot of amazing moments by that Thad Luckenbill was able to perform, but it was a real bad look on the character. Well, T. Nicole says, when Stitch asked Abby, where is Chance? And she told him that Chance is on a secret mission, I got the feeling that Abby just confirmed to Stitch that the FBI are onto him. Yeah, I think so too, T. Nicole. I think so too. But here's a whopper of a twisty twist theory from Dorothy, who says, I think Stitch is the father of the baby. He's been keeping tabs on Abby ever since he left Genoa City. He is a doctor, and he could easily switch the sperm donation tube. He's lost his son to mental illness, and maybe this baby can replace him. I tell you, Dorothy, that would absolutely explain that final scene on Friday where Stitch is looking through the window at Mariah. Ooh, maybe Stitch is thinking, that's my baby. Can you even believe that theory? That's what would cause this to twist in a potentially romantic direction for Abby and Stitch. I like that a lot. I don't know if that's where I'm wanting to land on it, but dang, that would be good. Daisy says, I still think Stitch might be stalking Abby. He's peering in the windows because he blames her for what happened to his son. Perhaps something worse than what we know, and Stitch is seeking revenge. Yeah, that's possible too. He's definitely giving stalker vibes, no doubt about it. Questions why. I asked you guys last week, are you happy to see Stitch's return? 59% of you said yes. The majority of people are liking seeing Stitch's face. 41% voted no, and I think I want to say, gosh, it's been a week, but I think I voted that I want to say I voted that it was a little blah for me. He's a nice guy. He's, got a great face. Seems perfectly nice, but it was a little bit of a dud. Felt like a little bit of a dud to me. Jamie says Stitch is hot as ever. Welcome back, Doc. Bring on the sexy soapiness, and also an older version of Bad Max could be interesting and give us the makings of a new long-term villain that could pop in and out of Genoa City with a fresh serving of creepy drama as needed. Oh, that's good. And I was wondering that too, Jamie. Like, what's Max's age? Because he was a child when Stitch left. But I mean, the fact that the child's age changes so much. I mean, we don't know. Like, Y&R could absolutely still have it could be on the surface, and Max is a red herring. He's just that given Stitch the purpose, or they could age Max up and make him like this crazy new villain, and I mean, who knows? Stitch could be the one wanting to protect Abby from Max, or who knows, whatever other direction it could go. But yeah, I don't know how old Max is, but I mean, yeah, I mean, we could use kind of a fun new villain. I wouldn't mind that, like an over-the-top villain. Oh, let's get back to Stitch. Mark says, here's the deal. Stitch is a bore. Stitch has always been a bore. He was a bore with Abby, Ashley, and Victoria. In my humble opinion, the only moment Stitch wasn't a bore was for a fleeting moment when I thought that maybe he had hooked up with Dylan McAvoy in a foxhole over in Afghanistan. If the writers can do something interesting with him, I'm all for it. But if this is the same old boring Stitch, let's move on. Oh, Mark, this is funny because you're mentioning that he was with Abby and Ashley, and I remember that, but I didn't remember him being with Victoria, and I think that speaks a lot to your point that Stitch was kind of boring. He's sort of not all that memorable, right? I don't know, maybe that's just me. I'm sure he had his fan base, no doubt about it, but I will say, to me, Stitch was not that memorable, so maybe that's why the surprise of him coming back was a little bit underwhelming to me. Oh, well, Gary says, yes, good old Stitch is a sight for sore eyes, and I'm not even a Ben Rayburn aficionado. Oh, look, Gary says, Dottie Bose is dead. Devon Hamilton has nothing in common with Abby. He might be good for her, but she would end up boring him. And somebody's got to be that baby's father to complete Abby's happy picture. Who better than the good doctor to continue the family picture they were in the process of beginning years ago? And we don't need Stitch for the short haul. We need him for the long as that Max is still being held behind high security doors. Oh, Gary, you left this comment early in the week, but I think that romance definitely could have been a direction that Y&R took with Stitch, and it still could be. Stitch is familiar. He's comfortable. No, he's not exciting, but he would fit the role. They could kill Chance off and slide Stitch right in to the husband/father role, and I don't even know if anybody would notice. I mean, I think there's still a possibility that could happen, to be honest with you. With Dorothy's theory, Stitch could have just learned that he's the sperm donor. He wouldn't even have had to manipulate any of this. He could have just decided to do a sperm donation who knows how long ago. Then he somehow did some research to find out who got the sperm. He finds out that it was Mariah, and now he's longing, and that it was for Abby. And now, and by the way, side note, Abby picked the sperm donor. It would make sense that she would pick someone who would appeal to her, like an ex-husband would appeal to her. But now Stitch somehow found out that he was the sperm donor, and he's longing to be involved. He misses what he had with his son, and I mean, knowing that it's just so happened that his ex-wife got his sperm. What a coincidence. And then there you go. I mean, that completes the picture of, everything going on in the Chancellor Mansion. I mean, don't you love that theory? It's just what we need. Another person involved in having this baby. Sherrod says, Tessa and Mariah, officially a couple for 4 years, haven't had one talk about their feelings regarding the pregnancy and their own future. As a couple, that would be a conversation they'd have. Mariah is carrying Abby's baby, sharing something so intimate when they, as a couple, haven't shared that. But once again, Mariah only cares about Abby and only Abby, while she rages at Tessa about taking out the garbage. You're so right, Sherrod. It's so unbelievable. And Sherrod also had made a very astute point about the fact that there is a total lack of physical intimacy between Mariah and Tessa. I mean, they haven't touched or anything like that. They're still keeping a really strong, distance from one another. It's like all of the intimacy, both, well, at least emotional intimacy, seems to take place between Abby and Mariah. I mean, yeah, Tessa got some, what were they? Some kind of pasta roll. I don't know what it was. Some sort of delicious citrusy pasta roll that, that was very thoughtful of Mariah and everything. But what Abby's getting from Mariah is more. It's bigger. It's more intimate. Tessa gets food. Abby gets the intimacy. I mean, it was a beautiful scene where Abby was closing her eyes as Mariah was describing what it feels like to be pregnant. But that has to be so awkward for Tessa. It's just unbelievable that it wouldn't be awkward for Tessa, and there is absolutely no play on that. Why have Tessa there if she makes no difference, if she has no impact, and she's just always there to smile and be supportive? Like, I feel like Kate Fairbanks is very capable of performing some grit. We've seen it. So I would like her to have a reaction. A real reaction to what's going on. SueW says, I always thought that a Mariah-Abby relationship could be where we're headed. It would be certainly timely, and how groundbreaking to carry a same-sex couple past the relationship into a full-fledged family. I don't know, has that been done on soaps before? I was wondering, okay, well, two things, SueW. First of all, I was wondering that too. Could this be leading to an Abby and Mariah relationship? We've kicked around that idea a couple of times, and it's certainly possible. But also, I was thinking, or is it possible that Mariah realizing the joy of motherhood, and Mariah is like really getting into the pregnancy, is it possible that as soon as Mariah gives birth to Abby's baby, it's not going to be about Mariah wanting to still like hold on to that baby? Is it possible that instead Mariah is going to think about getting pregnant again on her own and having that baby that she could raise with Tessa, and then maybe we'd get a wedding or something? I don't know. Sandra says, are we supposed to act like we didn't hear Lily say to Nina that she wants to be the cool aunt to Abby's baby? I don't think that's how it works. The baby is Abby and Chance's. Or no? I don't know. This is like a community baby. It is, Sandra, literally, it is a community baby. It is like a co-op or something. It's like where, it's like the baby's like a fruit and vegetable co-op where, you just go and you pick out your fruits and vegetables. You just get whatever you want. It's just like it's for everybody. You just fill up your basket of all the baby that you want and then walk away, go home, take it, and cook it. I don't know. I don't know whose baby it is anymore. It is literally everyone's. So there you go. Oh. Sherrod also says it seems like Nina is about to be being put into the middle of the whole Ashland and Tara storyline as an investigative journalist. Oh, Sherrod, I instantly connected Nina's job interview to having her find out something about Chance's mission or about Stitch or something. But you're saying that she could be put into Ashland's investigative story. And that's actually a pretty good idea, too, because putting Nina into the Ashland story could remove some of Billy's conflict of interest. So that's a possibility too. Boy, they just dangled that and then just didn't go anywhere for the rest of the week, but I am curious to know where it is going. Oh, hey, Ellen says, shouldn't Ashland look just a little bit ill by now? His healthy tan looks good, and energetic presentation doesn't say 6 months left to live to me. Oh no, his healthy tan good looks and energetic presentation doesn't say 6 months to live to me. Yeah, no kidding. 6 months to live and he's looking better than ever. Couple coughs, but whatever. Bottle of water will solve that. Jamie says, on the topic of Victoria, I think she's totally trying to play Ashland for a fool to get her hands on his company. She weasels out of every sexy attempt that Ashland makes to take things to the next level. He's got to be onto her, and I highly doubt that he's terminally ill. She's unwittingly playing a game that she can't win. I want Victor to bust the whole ruse wide open before Newman Enterprises gets swallowed up by the Loch Ness Monster. Yes, I think you're right. I think that's Locke's intention. He wants to swallow up Newman Enterprises. And I think, honestly, there's a part of Victoria that thinks she's playing Locke, but doesn't know she's being played. Well, let's talk about this. Diana says, we know Adam will be moving into the tack house. Yay! I love the tack house. I find it cozy. It also brings back a lot of memories as it has a lot of nostalgia. We also know the reason that Adam will be moving back there. This will bring Adam into Sharon's world as they will both be living on the ranch. Woohoo! Let the chemistry sparks fly. Oh, Diana, you just blew my mind with this comment on a couple of levels. Like, first of all, okay, maybe the tack house can be sort of like Sharon's cottage and that I can look at it in a nostalgic way. But the larger issue here is like, wow, the plot just thickened in my head. Didn't even occur to me before. But it all makes sense now. Adam is getting closer to Sharon. That's what this is about. Adam's gonna be Sharon's neighbor, knocking on the door, asking for a cup of sugar. And Ellen says it'll be just in time for the lovebirds to return from their second honeymoon. What a shame. Ray will have that scowl on his face once he finds out that Adam is their new neighbor. Let's see how Sharon reacts. Yes. And Leslie says if I was Ray, I would insist that they move into their own house off the ranch. Yeah, the second that Adam shows up with his suitcases, Ray should be suggesting that they move off of the ranch, find a new place. Hey, I hear there's a house being built on another one of Sharon's ex's properties, Nick's. And Nick's got that whole empty house now, so maybe that's a place Sharon and Ray can go. Henry says, what happened to the house that Nick was having built for Summer and Kyle? You know, Henry, you left this comment early in the week, and I saw it, and I thought, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That house was like one of my first thoughts when I realized Summer was actually leaving. I was like, what about the house? And then I didn't expect Y&R or anybody to follow up on it, and then later in the week, we heard Kyle say, oh, we were building that dream house, no, that's not going to happen, yada, yada. Well, I guess we should have known it was never going to happen. Maybe we should just scrap it, bulldoze it. It's bad luck. We've been trying to build it for years. Or give it to Sharon and Ray, or turn it into some New Hope housing. I knew we were never going to get that set. I knew it. I knew in my heart. I had hope. But I knew in my heart that we were never going to see that house. Y&R did the same thing with Phyllis's penthouse at the Grand Phoenix. She went to all the trouble designing the whole thing, make sure in her closet was exactly how it was supposed to be, and then nothing. We never saw it. Wow, gosh, who the heck said this? I wrote that Tara said this, and I know that's not right. I'm sorry, I don't know who said this, but it's such a great comment. I want to say it was Leslie, maybe not. Tara is such a damsel in distress. I'm surprised Nick isn't swooping in. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know who I wrote down Tara. But, yeah, Tara is such a damsel in distress that I'm surprised Nick isn't swooping in. And Victoria, kind of following up on that, says, before we know it, Nick and Harrison will be moving into their new home. Harrison will be able to put muddy frogs in his pocket from his own little pond. That is, of course, if Nick can be talked into giving it to them. I wonder what Tara has on Nick to get this done. Oh, so more than one person seeing a path to Tara and Nick. Ooh, Tara just gobbling up the men in Genoa City. I kind of like that idea. Oh, TB84 says, oh gosh, I could not cry. I just could not cry on Monday's episode. The goodbye scenes between Kyle and Summer. It was so painful, but at the same time so romantic and tragic in a way that is not meant to be emotional. They were both in a way to not mention emotional. Both great performances by those two. Yeah, I know, it was a really emotional goodbye. It was really just absolutely heart-wrenching, and I was just so sad to see Summer go. I couldn't believe it, but is Kyle going to be right behind her? Sandra says, I read that Michael Mealor is set to leave Y&R. The article said that he and Hunter King were leaving because their contract negotiations stalled. And no mention of Hunter leaving because of the pilot. Sandra, okay, so I saw your comment and I went to look that up. I guess it was a Soap Opera Digest article. I didn't read the article itself, but I confirmed that, yeah, I guess there was an interview where Michael and Hunter said that their contract negotiations failed. That's really sad. So did Y&R let her and possibly him go because they just didn't work out the contracts? I mean, I don't know if they were asking for everything under the sun for all I know, but they'd become such a really front burner, everyday couple that are like in the right age range for the show, and really were bringing a lot of heat and a lot of passion and probably a lot of viewers to the show. It's really surprising that they would let them go over contracts, probably over money and stuff, unless it was about like ability to do other projects at the same time, and that was a part of the contract. I don't know, but I have wrapped my brain around the idea of leaving Summer. And now I'm going to have to wrap my brain around the idea of leaving Kyle and just never seeing him again. Jamie says, is it possible that Kyle will actually be the one to see through Tara? He seems quite disinterested in her brand of comforting. She may come off too strong and set off his alarm bells. This would give Kyle a chance to prove that he's not just a handsome dolt that famously waffles from woman to woman. Maybe it's true that Harrison's not his kid, or even Tara's kid for that matter, and he can run away to Italy and be with Summer with no obligations to tend to in Genoa City. I mean, that's it, right? That's exactly what I was thinking too. If Kyle's leaving the show, then that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to find out that Tara is lying to him. He's going to find out that Harrison is not his son, and then boom, he's off to Milan to reunite with Summer. Ooh. We will just have to see about that. Different topic. Superplex says, oh yeah, Jack and Sally is back on. And Ellen says, as long as it gives Jack a real story of his own, I'm all for it. For years, he has been just circling around other characters and commenting on their lives. I can just feel the corny 4th of July speech coming that they've written for Jack. Enough already! Give the man a crazy, messy love affair with Sally. Let them have triplets. Send them on a tropical vacation where they get kidnapped. I don't care. Just give Jack something on the front burner. Oh, I love the idea of them having triplets and going away on a tropical vacation. Ooh, a tropical vacation for the winter would be really nice for us. And you know what? On the larger scale, I agree with you. I mean, I got no problem with Jack and Sally. I can't even, honestly, at this point, I don't even remember what she did that made Jack turned off of her. What she knew about Harrison's existence, and I mean, that's in terms of like soap opera bad girl stuff. It's not even all that big of a deal. And again, Phyllis has done worse to Jack, so why forgive Phyllis and be on great terms with Phyllis and still sort of pine for Phyllis, and then not give Sally a second chance? I don't know. Also, I just love your idea about like just putting Jack in the front burner. I think you're right that they have pigeonholed him a little bit to he is just a sappy, sentimental speech giver, commenting on other people's lives, longing for something to happen in his life for now so long. I mean, how long's it been since Jack's had an actual relationship? Was Emily his last relationship? It's been years at this point. So, yeah, I mean, Peter Bergman is so good, and he's just so good every time he's on screen. So yeah, there's more he can do, and I would love to see it. Daisy says, though, Sally talking to Jack again is awful. She hurt Jack's son more than once, with Jack, still none the wiser. I'm hoping that Kyle finds out what Sally and Tara did to Summer, then, unbeknownst to the pair, turns the tables on them. Kyle should start with getting a lawyer and securing his parental rights, then let Summer know that he loves her and will not give up. And what his plan is will make things right. Oh yeah, you're right, I forgot. Sally did last week partner up with Tara to kick Summer out of town. Oh yeah, there was that too. Oh, I forget. That's such a good example of how I am like a weekly basis viewer. It is like a fresh slate for me every single week. I like have all the feelings that I have about the week on Sunday, and then I go to sleep. I wake up on Monday, and it's like a fresh new world. I forget anything that happened. I mean, look, I'm not going to argue that Sally's a good girl. I just think she's not as bad of a girl in the scheme of the bad girls. And I don't know. I just sort of don't mind seeing Jack with a little bit of a bad girl. I'm not opposed to the Jack and Sally thing for some reason. I can't put my finger on it. I'll think of it and figure it out, but then I'll forget it. Oh. Let's end on this fun comment from Tony, who says, has it been since 2017 that we had an all-cast event to make ribbons and raspberries comments? I have a few observations over the show. Overall, the show looks good, but Tony's got some ribbons to give away here, and I thought I'd list them one by one. Well, I guess if you don't remember, ribbons and raspberries is sort of an old Y&R throwback where we would give ribbons to the fashion that we like and give raspberries to the fashion that we don't like. And yeah, it's been forever since I've put together anything on the website for that, but boy, let's just do it right now. Well, I'm looking, you guys are helping me fill in the blanks here. So Tony has a list of some ribbons and some raspberries, and we'll go through them one by one. First of all, all the ribbons. We'll give you the ribbons first. And the first ribbon goes to Nikki's raspberry color blouse and blingy skirt. Looked good. She wears most colors well, and I like the wide belts. Ooh, Tony, I love that belt too. I loved that belt. It was like a red top, sparkly blingy skirt, and then there was this like almost 80s looking belt that was tying the whole thing together. I don't even know what it would have been made out of. It looked like plastic. Honestly, it looked like sparkly plastic. A big sparkly plastic 80s looking belt, and it was fantastic. I loved it. She looked great in that red. Tony also says, I like the jumpsuits that I've noticed on Victoria, Abby, Phyllis, Summer, and Tara, although Tara is a little too short, I think. But I like the fashion comeback. Yes, pausing, I agree. I love all of these jumpsuits. It's just surprising that it's become so prevalent. It's jumpsuits every week, and it's fantastic, but I agree, you got to have the body to pull it off. You kind of have to be long and lean to pull off a jumpsuit, which is why I don't have any jumpsuits. Tony also thinks Mariah's maternity outfits are flattering for her. And you know, I agree. I tell you, I think Mariah looks good in the pregnancy suit that she has on. It's very realistic. Do you remember the days when the pregnancy suits did not look realistic? It was just like a pillow tied to the actress, and it just looked so unreal. But boy, they have come a long way with what I'm presuming is some type of prosthetic. I don't see any lines. I mean, the belly is smooth. It all looks totally natural. I loved Mariah's pajamas. I was definitely digging her just casual around the house late night pajamas. Tessa had some cute pajamas, by the way. I thought Tara had a nice tan pajama set in the silky pajama set set that she had in her scene with Kyle. So, yeah, I think Mariah has been looking very good, and I love the pajamas. Tony says Billy looks very stylish in his slender suits. Agreed. Always. Slender's a great word. And the final ribbon goes to Amanda, who always looks nice, casual, and professional. Oh, we have to comment on the white dress that Amanda had on in her park scene with Sutton. I mean, like, can you imagine having the body to be able to wear that dress? I don't know if you saw it or what, but it was a white dress. It just hugged her completely. I mean, I don't even know how she got it on. It was so tight, and it just absolutely accentuated every curve of her body in a way that I would not be comfortable having my curves accentuated. But good Lord. And it was white, and it's just, oh, she looks so beautiful. And how about a few raspberries here? Raspberries are when the fashion is not a hit. Tony says Nina wears mostly gray, which is not flattering to her. And I agree. Nina definitely could use a style upgrade. I love having Nina. But did we trade Nina for Tracy? I'm just wondering. Just on a side note, I keep thinking, oh, I love Nina, but where's Tracy? I like having these older characters on the show. They fit that motherly role. And Tracy had, pretty good style. Tracy's pretty stylish. Nina definitely dresses in drab colors. But I think that probably more so fits Nina's personality. Tracy's an artist, so maybe she can afford to be a little more flowy and a little more colorful. And I guess, Nina's an artist too, but Nina seems a little more like practical minded maybe. But you know what? Nina's never, that I can think of, been super on the stylish side. But yeah, I don't know. I think Nina could use a wardrobe upgrade. I'll agree with that. Oh, but Tony gives a raspberry to Amani, saying she dresses too Dynasty. That really makes me laugh because that's also a very nail on the head comment. It is very Dynasty. Imani could be on Dynasty, but that's why I love it. That's why I give it ribbons, ribbons, ribbons. But one more final raspberry. Tony says, "It's summer, Jack. Please wear something casual once in a while." I think that might be my favorite one of all. I mean, yeah, it's 4th of July. Can we please put Jack in a short sleeve button up and a pair of khaki shorts already? It is 4th of July. How about that? What do you guys have planned? I can't wait to see your comments this week. Tell me what you guys are doing for 4th of July. Ooh, I enjoyed hearing all of your weird food combinations too. I liked reading those. Those were really good. And I'd love to hear if you're having a barbecue, what you got on the grill, what you got going if you do fireworks, or if you go see fireworks. Fireworks are very illegal here in Illinois. But that doesn't stop anyone from doing them. But I'm not going to do them, especially now. Fireworks, when you're a homeowner, just feels like a whole different level of risk that I am not willing to take. I'm going to step out onto my mansion sunroom and just see what I can see. Oh, but you know me, I'm going to be doing some grill. Got some brats for the grill. And yeah, I think that's about it for me. I think you should go to yrchat.com, leave me your comments about the show, vote in that poll, tell me if you think Ashland is dying, and yeah, come back and see me next week. I will have gone to sleep tonight, forgotten everything about this past week, and I will wake up on Monday with a fresh perspective on Y&R for the week. Completely blank slate. It's kind of a nice thing, to be honest with you. Like, I'm just like that. I have no short-term memory. I really struggle with it, but I also don't mind it, because in a lot of ways, it's like, if I have a bad day, I'll go to bed and it's gone the next day. Like, I wake up every day and it is truly, truly a new day for me. Nothing sticks, so even the bad stuff doesn't stick very long. It's kind of nice. It's a nice little feature of the Alley model. The 2021 Alley SS. No short-term memory. It's just gonna get worse. Okay, everybody. I hope you have a really lovely holiday. I love you, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye.